Well, you may have heard that South Carolina is causing a bit of an uproar when it comes to carrying out the death penalty. Two death row inmates or executions, gosh, I can't talk this morning, I guess it's too early. Executions were blocked on June 16th by the South Carolina Supreme Court, which was only 2 days before one inmate was scheduled to be executed. We're going to talk about that today on this week's Midweek Minis.
Triple M Studios proudly presents Midweek Minis, and here's your host, Andrea Lee.
Whether you're for it or against it, the death penalty is always a hot topic of debate. South Carolina has been on an involuntary pause since 2013 from carrying out the death penalty because of the shortage of the drug used in lethal injections. The makers of the drug used in lethal injections have refused to sell the drug to South Carolina until laws are changed so that those who oppose the death penalty are kept from knowing the name of the company who makes the drug. Other states that do use lethal injections have like these shield laws that protect the drug companies from, I guess, being harassed and attacked. In November of last year, South Carolina halted the execution of Richard Moore. Moore had been found guilty and sentenced to death in the 1999 murder of a convenience store clerk in Spartanburg County. After Moore's stay of execution, the case went to the South Carolina Supreme Court so that it could determine whether the punishment fit the crime. 2 more executions were halted this month for Brad Sigmund and Freddie Owens. Sigmund was found guilty on 2 counts of murder in 2002, and Owens was found guilty of killing a convenience store clerk in 1997. Now, as I mentioned, the state had ran out of the lethal injection drug, so they had to come up with a new method of carrying out the death penalty. So in May of this year, our governor here in South Carolina, Henry McMaster, signed into law a bill that forces inmates for now to choose between the electric chair or the newly formed firing squad. Now, this doesn't mean that the state is abandoning lethal injection. From my understanding, they're going to use like the firing squad in place of the lethal injection until the drug becomes available. And who knows, maybe they'll, have 3 methods, that inmates can choose from. Lawyers for Sigmund and Owens, they filed lawsuits against the state saying that death by electrocution was cruel and unusual, and also that this was something that wasn't even a law when they were found guilty and sentenced to death. Less than a month after the law passed for firing squads, Sigmund and Owens' executions were scheduled. Although both men have run out of traditional appeals, South Carolina's highest courts once again halted their execution on the 16th of this month. And this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the show, saying that they cannot be put to death until the state truly has put together a firing squad and the inmates have a choice between the 2 procedures, either electric chair or firing squads. So now South Carolina has to literally build a firing squad. They have to build like a physical structure. They have to make the policies, procedures, and form the actual squad. Now, I'm not sure, how those on the firing squad will be chosen. But when more becomes available on that, I'll be back with an update. But what I can tell you is that South Carolina is turning to other states who already have a firing squad in place for guidance. There are 3 other states, Mississippi, Oklahoma, and Utah, who presently have firing squads, and only 7 others still use the electric chair. As a little side note, the electric chair in South Carolina is 109 years old. I had no idea that it hadn't been replaced in all that time. Now, what I've just told you are the facts surrounding the South Carolina firing squads. Now I'm going to give you my opinion, okay? I'm not against the death penalty. For personal reasons, but the lawyers for Sigmund and Owens have said that, like, the firing squad is barbaric, inhumane, going backwards in time, etc., etc. But let me say that none of these men's victims died in a humane way. Brad Sigmund beat to death the parents of his ex-girlfriend with a baseball bat. Then, sorry about that. And then he took a gun from the house and waited for his ex-girlfriend to return. And when she did, he kidnapped her at gunpoint and forced her into his car. She was somehow able to escape from his car, but he shot her. However, I do want to say she did survive. Now, Freddie Owens, he killed a convenience store clerk on Halloween night of 1997, and from my understanding, that was the kickoff of a crime spree for him. The clerk that he killed, her name was Irene Graves, and she was the mother of 3. There was only $37 in the register at the convenience store she was working at, and she couldn't unlock the safe, and that's why he decided to shoot her in the head. Now, I ask you, do these crimes not sound barbaric? Do they sound like at all humane? Now, if you ask me those questions, of course I would say no. And I'm saying it now. Those crimes that they committed were inhumane and barbaric. Okay. I'm off my soapbox for now. And sorry I kind of took that spiral. But let's just all take a deep breath and focus on the fact that it's only 2 days till the weekend. So breathe in and release it. Y'all have a good rest of your week. Don't forget to come back Saturday for the Weekend Weird Files. And I promise not to go off on another rant. Maybe. We'll do something fun. Have a good rest of your week.